Hello and welcome to the Macho Show! I am Vanessa. Medusa, whatever you want to call me. And I am welcomed? No, I am joined by Mr. Mad Cat. How are you today?
You being macho is cute and all, but let me show you how it's done. The Macho Show!
Well, why don't you introduce it then, motherfucker?
Oh. I keep telling you to let me, but you're like, no, bitch, I'll do it.
Whatever, excuses. But yeah, anyways, welcome. Thanks for joining us on today. Today's show.
If I seem off my Redland today, it's because I've been doing a whole lot of yoga and it just has me so pumped up.
Oh yeah, I'm slightly drunk and hungry because I'm almost. I have that. I have some wine. I don't really want to drink wine right now though. Like I don't know. I'm almost out of alcohol and I don't have any food and I don't get paid till tomorrow, and therefore I am sad because I'm really hungry. So yeah, donate if you want to give me num-nums. I'm dressed as Jack Spicer from Shaolin Showdown, if anybody knows who that is.
Well, if you zip down your zipper, I'll have some num-nums.
Oh my fucking god. Oh no, but seriously, if you donate, I will totally send you like GIFs and or pictures and or videos depending on how much you donate. So I love you. Let me see. Is there anybody in the chat yet? Hi, Rose Black. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. How's everybody doing? White ginger guy with the swirly goggles. Yes, I have some of those, but they're in my garage. I made them myself. I need to make new ones, but they're pretty cool. I was him for Halloween when I was 10. That shit was awesome. But yeah, it's my fucking. I'm gonna turn down the brightness of my thingy-ma-bob because it's like I'm just gonna take these off. Fuck you. You get to see the real me. My boobies are down here, thank you.
Yes, I'm looking at your boobies. Thank you.
I know, I can tell.
I mean, I know I'm a man and I'm bad with directions, but I think I could find your boobies in a snowstorm.
Possibly. That'd be a great landmark. Just pass her boobies. Well, actually, no, you're gonna have to stop and stare. You're not just gonna pass them. You don't need to worry about the destination. That is the destination.
No. Men can multitask. It's like, I'm driving, there's your boobs, like, ooh. And hopefully not crash. I mean, I can drive and look at your tits, but I can't see where I'm going. Not that that's important.
Okay, what does this chat say? See, I can't read at the same time.
I watched Swekta and Animancers sometimes do figures. I should see what your channel about.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Your English is horrible, but most people's English are horrible, so I'm not really insulting you on that one. But I'm a writer, so I care about that shit.
Yeah, I watch Swekta and Animancers sometimes to figure out I should watch see what your channel is about. That is not bad. That bad. Like, come on, don't be anal. Don't fucking push our fucking fans away being a grammar Nazi, okay? Fuck you.
Hi, I'm Mad Cat. I don't think we've met.
Bitch, I don't give a shit. Keep it to yourself. Don't.
See, that's how much got a new fan. Medusa loves her fans. She'll chastise me to defend the fans.
How am I Obviously, I care
I'm
way more about the
complimenting you,
fans.
you bitch. Jesus.
You're what?
I'm complimenting you, you bitch.
Whatever. I do what I want. Oh. Anyways, do you want to talk about what the show is about or what?
Well, Rose says, not going to lie, I had a deep, deep fear of Medusa as a kid, so please don't turn me to stone. Trust me, kid, when she turns you to stone, well, let's just say that it's more downstairs than...
No. Old Medusa turns you to stone. Modern Medusa turns you to bone. There's a difference. You know how it is.
All right, so today's topic is homelessness. We're supposed to have a guest join us today, but he hasn't gotten back with me, so we'll probably just choose one of our regulars to come in with us. But we do want to stress out there for anyone who's interested for coming on, please let us know. We love having people come on. You know, maybe you want to talk about the issue that we're talking about now or talk about something else that's on your mind. We're open for anything. Best way to get a hold of us is through Twitter. You can contact me or Modern Medusa, but probably better that you contact Modern Medusa. It's at Vanessa W. Cheese. Or just look up Modern Medusa. I think she's one of the only ones on Twitter. She'll be the most famous Modern Medusa. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about homelessness. And this is actually something I have some experience with. And I'll be upfront and honest with you. I was only homeless for 3 months. I spent 3 months in a homeless shelter. I also spent a few nights sleeping on the street. So I wouldn't say that I'm an expert at it in any sense of the case, because there are people who've been on the street for years. But I will say that I have seen it up front and close, which is more than what most people can really say. Homelessness is a problem that primarily affects men. You do see some women out there, and I did meet some homeless women when I was out and about in Philadelphia because, well, we're just always walking around doing shit, me and my friend. And I was actually very fortunate that I had a friend with me. I met people at both shelters that I was at. The first guy was fucking cool. The other guy, he was a little bit of a douche. And you have to remember, there's a reason why some people are homeless. But let me speak about that real quick. You know, there's always this talk about solving the homeless problem. And to me, their approach seems, well, we'll do these special programs and we'll try to, you know, educate people on how to get a job or how to keep a job. And it's like, more often than not, the best thing we can do is just to give them beds. There are a few different types of homeless people. There are the people who are mentally ill and just cannot be a part of society, and there's really no other place for them, so might as well be in a homeless shelter. There are the people that just kind of give it a big finger to the system and say, I don't want to be a part of it. I'm going to live on the street, which is ironic because they're still being a part of the system. But it's more like they don't want to pay their bills. They don't want to live in a house. They want to be homeless, which is a strange concept. Then there are people who are homeless because of some situation, like they lost their job, they can't afford their home, and they've just got to be in a shelter until they find something. And then the last group is they do have a job, and either their mortgage is really, really high, or it's just better. They have to go to another city to help support their family, so they stay in a shelter while they work. So there's a lot of different reasons why people become homeless. I saw them all. And I guess I'll just kind of open it up from there if anyone wants to have any questions about being homeless or not, or anything else they want to discuss. Vanessa, if you want to go ahead and bring in one of our guests. It doesn't look like our other guest will be showing up today.
Okay. I will do that.
but I'll just continue talking until we get a question or two. So, it's interesting, though, is that I spent time in Philadelphia and Detroit. And I experienced, not a lot, not overt, but I did experience some racism come my way in Philadelphia, but not in Detroit. And the majority of the population in the shelter was blacks. And it was funny, the one experience I had with racism is there's a couple of, I was sitting at a table and I was there with my friend Felipe and just kind of a couple other guys that we just sort of see, not really friends, but, and we had some other guys sit at our table and they were both black. And it's like, yeah, the white man, they need to die. And then they look at me and it's like, but no, you're okay. But
What?
yeah, I fucking hate white people, blah, blah, blah. And then looks back at me again. But again, you're okay.
That's so weird.
Hey there.
Hi.
What's up? I'm not looking to my best today, so I'm probably just gonna be a talking head man for this episode.
Fine. God.
But yeah. So
I just put on a wig and a little fucking eye makeup. So.
I don't have any wigs. And I don't know how to apply eye makeup. So
shit, I'll teach you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to teach me.
And I just put on a shirt, so.
Really?
I'm not even wearing a shirt. That's why I can't come on camera.
Really?
Right, yeah.
Guess you can.
No.
And I'm putting this out there, ladies. I'm only wearing a shirt. So if you want to see more, donate some money.
Shit. You know what to do.
Oh my god.
But yes, we are talking about homelessness and how it is a major issue for men and how basically it's a problem that many people try to ignore, and try to just like find an easy solution to, but there really isn't. So I'm sure you haven't been homeless, but I'm sure. Oh, we got someone in chat. Crazy Cap. I was homeless in the suburb of Detroit.
Oh
God.
God.
It was really interesting to say the least. I found out very quickly who my real friends were. Now let me ask you, are you saying who your real friends were before you became homeless, or who your real friends were when you were in the shelter? Which, by the way, I was also homeless in Detroit. Not in a suburb, in actual Detroit. So
that's a crazy fucking place to not have a fucking roof over your head. I mean,
that's
probably one of the worst places in all of America, if not the entire Western world, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, yes and no. Detroit is an interesting place because I came from Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, there are people everywhere. And even on Sunday, when most people are in church, there are still some people there. In Detroit, there is no people anywhere. I mean, I walked from the bus station to the homeless shelter, which was about 5 miles, I think. And I only saw like 3 people.
That's what people were telling me today at work. They're like, apparently it's a fucking ghost town.
It is.
No one wants to be outside there. I think that's part of the reason.
Fuck. It's like Silent Hill.
I didn't really feel like I was in any sort of sense of danger when I was in Detroit. If anything, I felt more welcomed in Detroit than I did in Philadelphia. At least from the black population. I didn't have anyone being openly racist to my face.
Sure.
And
you weren't here to hear that, were you, Animancer?
No. What he
tell him what the people said while you were in the shelter.
Yeah, the one in Philadelphia, I was sitting at a table and some black guys came up. And there's like black people all around, so it's not like, oh no, there's black people. So, but there's just some guys who sat down and they started spouting off about how all of the world's problem is caused by white people and that white people need to die. Then would look over at me and be like, but no, you're cool. And then go off and talk more and more about, Trump is, the Antichrist and, You know,
Oh,
there's
God.
going to be a war between the black people and the white people, and he looks forward to the chance to kill all them whiteys. But again, you're cool.
Not you, though. Not you, though. I'll be on your team.
Afraid that I would just jump over that table and, like, kill him or something.
Oh, my God. That's fucking nuts.
You're one of the white savages. Of course you could. You could snap at any second and just go back to that 1600s mentality, right?
Oh,
I mean, damn.
I mean, the fact that they can say stuff like that in front of you, but you cannot say stuff like that in front of them.
You would be put on the news and made a public like sensation.
Well, you know, that was a conversation I had with my friend, my one friend that I had in the shelter, Felipe, and he was Hispanic, and he would use the N-word in front of black people all the time, and of course they don't have a problem with that. He's Hispanic. Now I was telling him, you know, I could never say that. He's like, why not? It's like, because I'm white. I would get my.
What you mean, white now, motherfucker?
I'll tell you what.
He did not understand why me being white would cause any sort of problems.
Some of the most racist people that you'll find in terms of at least being racist against black people are Latinos more often than not, and a lot of people don't like to talk about that because it doesn't suit their narratives, right?
Yeah.
But it's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking bad, honestly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, heavy shit.
There was another racist incident that I had because when I went to Philadelphia, I was walking around in crutches because I injured myself the second night. I was homeless and I was sleeping out on the street. And there was a reason why I didn't go to the shelter. But when I finally went to the shelter, I was in crutches and I could barely walk at all. And finally, at first they put me up in the barracks because they didn't have any room downstairs. But then they put me in room downstairs. And there was this really old black guy who was just a loudmouth and racist every chance he got. And he would accuse the worker who was white that he was racist because he served the white people first. And he's referring to, you have to get the cots out of the storage closet and give it to all of us. And of course, this black gentleman chose to be in the back of the room. And there's a white guy who's like, only has one leg who's up front. So he services the guy up front first. He's like, you were just a racist. You always serve the white folks first.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
And I actually had an incident with that guy because they were trying to set something up with the cots one night. And the worker told me to turn on the light. So I did. And that black gentleman was trying to sleep, and he got up, turned on the light. It's like, stupid ass cracker. He's not the charge around here. He doesn't get to turn on the light. He went back into bed.
Oh my God.
Told that I went back and turned it on because I was told to turn it on by the help staff. And then he goes back. Well, he comes into my face and it's like, you turn that shit back on again, and I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm like, what's that? What? I didn't hear you. And I said this because there were all sorts of help staff around. And he yelled it. It's like, you do that again, and I'm going to slit your throat in your sleep. And I'm like, I'm looking around, and I'm like, how is the help staff not hearing this? Because there's a firm rule in the shelter that if you threaten someone, you're kicked out. And no one heard him threaten to slit my throat in my sleep. Now, I wasn't scared of him. I know it was all talk, but it was just so surprising to me. And yes, the staff is predominantly black, but still, it just, wow, this guy was openly racist, openly hostile, and he seemed like he was untouchable.
Yeah, I noticed that one of the biggest causes of racism, especially like here in America, is the fact that so many people, especially minority people, are taught that racism is like a one-way street. You know, only white people can be racist. So therefore, nothing I say against this honky could possibly be racist, right?
Right.
That's how a lot of people think, and it's really fucking sad. It just makes more racism, and it just that just emboldens more people to be racist against people for those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But what was also funny was because the church basically owns this shelter, and many shelters are run by the church. In fact, both shelters that I was at was church owned.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I would sit through the congregation, which, wow, I'm an atheist. I don't want to hear about God. But they would always talk about the apocalypse and how these were the end times, and that Trump was like a sign of the Antichrist or whatever. And they would, the church staff would constantly talk about Trump's election being the worst thing ever. But surprisingly, the other people who are homeless, a lot of the blacks supported Trump. They really loved him. And it's like, that's such an interesting divide. You've got these white-collar gentlemen over here who absolutely hate Trump, and then you got the poor black folk who love him.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah, such irony.
I don't think you ever told me about that, my cat. That's crazy.
Yeah, that shit is really fucking crazy.
By the way, Brad, not Brad, Rose, you said that you discriminate against the French people, which I'm pretty sure you're French, so maybe that's why it's funny. But my family came from France, so you discriminate me.
You discriminate? Oh my god, that was great. Oh fuck.
Yeah, my mother's brother's half uncle was French, so I'm also offended.
Yeah, I'm French Canadian. You can't fucking be so racist, or I'll fucking like make you into a crepe or some shit. Oh.
Yeah, you'll be a racist breakfast. That's what you'll be.
A crepesist.
Crepesist.
Crepesist, yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh fuck.
Speaking of France, every holiday season I love to point this fact out that margarine, which is predominantly used by black people, was invented in France. So that means that's cultural appropriation.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's right. Give it back, black people. It's time to give it back. They deserve their reparations, wouldn't you say? I mean,
oh my god.
Well, you keep asking for reparations, and we keep giving them margarine. I mean, I'd say
that we're even at this point. Come on.
Oh my god.
Like, you can't put a price on margarine. Let's be honest.
You guys are just making me want to make some toast.
Damn, I prefer real butter anyway. But...
Bruh, I have butter. Actually, I have a little bit of can of butter left. Aww.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You should put that on your tits. I'll lick it off.
What? No, it doesn't taste that good by itself. It's like unsalted.
Yeah,
that's why you put it on your tits.
My tits aren't salty. What do you mean?
Well, then, run a marathon first to get some salt on there.
Ew, no. Fuck. Gross.
Well, you keep telling me that you can't do it because, it doesn't taste good. Well, my tits aren't salty. You keep giving me problems. I keep giving you solutions.
Oh my god. These are not solutions. These just cause more problems. Oh my god. No, I don't want salty tits, thank you. They're already salty enough.
But as far as the racism in Detroit, like I said, I received none of it. And I was talking to my bunkmate. Again, yes, he was black. And I told him about it. And he's like, we don't have time for it. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, here in Detroit, we don't have time to be racist. It's kind of funny he said that, because looking at the history of Detroit, there was so many race-related issues throughout its history. And the fact that he just says that, it's like, we don't have time for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, I wish everyone could evolve to that level of wokeness.
But the biggest advice I'll ever give anyone is to watch your stuff, or find people you can trust well enough. Like, you'll watch their stuff if they watch your stuff, because people steal in homeless shelters. Now, I was fortunate that no one stole from me, but that's because I was hyper vigilant. I would make sure that one, someone was watching my stuff, and two, I wasn't gone for very long. Mm-hmm. And, you know, whenever we had to take showers, now in Philadelphia, all us guys had to take a shower at the same time. Like there was those bathroom shower where like 10 people can fit in at one time. But in Detroit, we only had we had one of those showers as well, but only one person at a time used it. It was strange. But I love what Crazy Cap said. He said, sad homeless stories to buttery tit stories. This is why I watch.
Yeah. That type of that type of diversity is exactly what you come to this show for.
Exactly.
It makes you feel every single emotion that you never even thought that you could feel before.
I've never cried and had an erection at the same time before.
Well, I have, but that's another story for another
time. My feet are so fucking cold. Oh my god.
Well, stick your
socks.
So here's what you do: is you take Pumbaa, you cut him open, and put your feet inside.
No, his mouth is big enough for that already. God.
Pumbaa.
I don't know. They're freaking cold. Oh god.
That's the only thing that you're not wearing anything on. Of course they're cold. You know,
exactly.
you don't even have socks. You don't even have socks.
I don't. Andrew, help! Socks. Need. Please. Oh, this is why
JTR Gulf City Serial Killer. That's a long name, but if you have any experiences you're willing to share about being homeless, would like to hear them.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to scream.
It's fine. I noticed you got your microphone all set up. It sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
It feels good. Yay. Thank you. Love you. I love you too.
Yeah, put on some damn socks. You're gonna give all the foot fetishists a bunch of erections, violent erections.
Donate to my PayPal if you want to see foot pictures.
I know that was probably the sexiest possible voice I could have said.
Yeah, that's the most arousing thing that you could possibly imagine to do.
And donate to my Patreon so I can give it to Medusa so she can show me her tits.
Yeah, donate a lot.
Please donate.
One thing that cracks me up about people's perception of people who are homeless is like sometimes you'll see in a YouTube comment or a Facebook comment where someone makes a comment about something but reveals that they're homeless, and then some response to them is like, well, if you're homeless, then you need to sell your laptop or phone or whatever so you can get some food. And it's like this idea that homeless people don't have access to technology is so funny. I mean, first off, I had my laptop and I had a track phone, which was technically a smartphone, but I could also go to the library and use their computers. And it's like in the digital age, homeless people have access to the internet.
It's very true, yeah.
In fact, you probably have spoken to someone who was homeless who didn't reveal they were homeless.
Well, yeah. I mean, and the fact that, like, you need to have a type of, you know, communication if you want to be able to get a job or, you know, make appointments for anything or like call any sort of, or call a shelter or anything like that, call fucking 911, you know, anything like that, you know.
It's a necessity for modern life, basically.
And you can get fucking $10 phones and $10 like monthly plan things at Walmart, so.
And then, of course, there's the Obama phones, which I didn't know was a thing until I got to Detroit and someone's like, hey, man, you want an Obama phone? I'm like, what?
An Obama phone?
What phone? I couldn't understand because of his thick accent, but it was just
Okay.
like it was basically a free phone for people who are homeless, but you had to prove that you had no income, which I can't exactly do because I can't demonstrate that, you know, I'm disabled or that I can't work.
How can you prove that you have?
I misspoke on that. I meant to say that you have a low income, like you show your pay stub.
Oh, okay.
So much a week. I misspoke on that. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
I want to refer to what Brad Young said and Medusa said. You know, laptops are tools and tools can make you money. Well, because I can't really work a job at all, which led to me becoming homeless eventually, the only job I could do was freelance writing. You know, I was doing ghost writing while I was homeless. And I needed a computer for that. And using the library computer, generally they only let you use it for an hour at a time. So thankfully, I had my own laptop where I could do my own writing.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. Apparently, Reagan started that program with the Obama phone, but it was pushed by Obama.
You know, yeah, I just looked it up. Apparently, the Trump administration, the Obama administration didn't actually create the program. They were just pushing it. So it's weird that they call it the Obama phone. Like the Obama. I feel like there was a time when Obama was president where they just loved to put Obama's name on everything, especially when he first got elected. Like Obama Chia Pet. There was an Obama Chia Pet. Do you guys remember that? You guys remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic. He was like the first president that got slapped on everything. You know.
Well, no, technically Trump was, but he wasn't president at the time.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He had his stakes and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh my god.
GTR Gulf City serial killer. Just wanted to say that. His homeless experience was that he went crazy, admitted to a state hospital, got out only with the clothes on my back, and $100 donated to me. Took 6 months bouncing around to land a job and get back on my feet. Yeah, that was the thing about the shelters we were at. Like the one in Philadelphia, you could only stay there officially for a month, although you could ask for an extended amount of time. So 60 days was the maximum you could stay there, and then you had to go to another shelter if the other shelters would accept you. And generally, they would only accept you if you were on your way to getting a job and turning your life around. And of course, I couldn't do that, so that severely worried me. The one in Detroit was actually for 90 days, which was actually pretty nice. But still, once I was done with that, I'd have to go to another shelter. And my friend Felipe, he had been to shelters in like 10 different states. He was just bouncing around constantly.
Wow.
I mean, some people like that nomadic life, but other people, it's like, you know, you're just bouncing around from shelter to shelter trying to keep your head above water.
Fuck that. That's terrible. People shouldn't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
And as bad, God, the one in Detroit wasn't really, really bad, but it's like in Philadelphia, church service was at like 6 p.m. Okay. And you could choose not to go to church service, but you had to stay outside until it was over. And then at 7 o'clock, you would eat. And then after that, you'd go up to your room by 8 o'clock. But in Detroit, you had to be in by 3 o'clock to eat dinner, then go up to your room by 4 o'clock, stay there for an hour, then go to church at 5 o'clock, and then you were done for the night. But we ate dinner at 3 p.m. And if I wanted to eat dinner at 3 p.m., which would be the only breakfast and dinner I would only have, I couldn't leave once I got in. So if I wanted to eat dinner that night, I had to go to church.
Wow. Oh, Oh, jeez.
And I seriously considered renting out a storage unit and just living in that. Carl Benjamin, check your what is it, Discord chat, because I want to send you an invite to this room.
Hell yeah, get in here and tell us your tell us what you have to say.
Yeah, because Pokemon Fetish spent some time being homeless, and he just said that the ones he experienced in Toronto, well, the ones I experienced were worse than the ones he experienced in Toronto. It'd be nice to hear about homelessness in other countries.
Yeah, like Canada and some European countries and stuff like that. It'd be interesting. I'm sure it even varies a lot, I'm sure, state by state.
It does.
But
well, I'll tell you the most fucked up part about my experience is that, you know, a month before I knew I was going to become homeless, I had called up the shelter in the county that I was staying at. I think it was Montgomery County or Bucks County in Pennsylvania. And I called them up and they asked me a bunch of questions. Now, I had served time in the military, but I wasn't in for very long. I just couldn't conform to the military life. So I was eventually given a general discharge, but I was in less for 2 years. Anyways, they asked me, well, were you in the military? I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't in for very long. I'm like, oh, okay. And then they moved on talking to me about how being homeless worked. Well, by the time I got to Detroit, I was almost ready to move in with my girlfriend, the abusive girl. I found out that I was actually eligible to stay in a VA homeless shelter. VA homeless shelters tend to be nicer than most other shelters. In fact, it's rumored, I don't know if this is true, that I get to sleep in a room with one other person, like we have our separate beds, versus staying in a barracks with beds everywhere. And it's like, so that person I called up and told that I was in, he should have said something. It's like, hey, you know, I will talk to the VA, see if you're eligible to stay in one of their shelters. Because as a veteran myself, sort of, I could stay in a VA shelter 3 times in my life, and I could stay up there for up to 1 year.
Wow. Holy shit.
And it's supposedly a nicer quality because it's more government run versus other shelters that require donations, say, from the local church. And it's like, that really pissed me off. It was like, oh, I could have been in a much nicer place and be like less afraid all the fucking time.
Wow. That's crazy.
Apparently, serial killer says that the VA shelter where he's at only accepts addicts.
what?
That sounds like a halfway house. But I don't know.
Like
That's
if you're
weird.
in the military and then I guess you became an addict afterwards. I don't know.
Who knows? Places are weird. I mean, they're already really biased against men already. Well, I mean, women's shelters are.
Yeah, there are many biases. Especially, like, I don't know. Especially, it's getting worse and worse, and it's going to get worse before it gets better when it comes to, you know.
Well, actually, that's not necessarily true. It's actually been getting better. There has been a decrease in homeless populations, especially under Trump, because more jobs have been created, less people are homeless. But if you compare it from the 70s to now, there has been a major drop. And a lot of politicians have been pushing this, wanting to do something about the homelessness. So there are efforts being made, but the sad part is a lot of focus is more on women and families versus men. Men are kind of at the bottom of the list of people we want to help to be homeless.
Why? I don't know. Like it's because of how society looks at, you know, it's because for so long, like women were kind of seen as like they had to be like a protected class, right? And it's still seen that way, except now, like people who are, let's say, pro-feminist, they don't have a problem with it because it's in the favor of women, even though they supposedly speak out against that type of shit. They don't speak out against that type of shit when it's something that's benefited them for generations and generations. That's just kind of how feminism is. They pick and choose things that they want and don't want, and they never talk about the things that are that women have had for years that have been good for them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, it's also better press if you say, hey, we just helped this woman who was living on the streets and now she can, see her children again and she can do better. Where if you said that about a man, people are like, well, then, he was probably some sort of alcoholic or addict or, some former criminal. But a woman, it's like, oh, it's so inspiring. It's just how our society treats women versus men. There's an empathy gap.
Yeah. It sells better as a news headline, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really fucked up. That's the thing with a lot of issues that are pretty bipartisan too, like including like homelessness. I think there's a decent amount of people on both sides of things. You'd have a hard time finding someone arguing in favor of homelessness is what I'm trying to say. And because of that, I feel like that's why there's not much progress.
Oh, yes, Mr. Yes, I did see the same thing, and that pissed me off. He said there was an advertisement on TV that said 1 in 4 women are homeless. And guess what the other 3 are? Men. But it's 1 in 4 women are homeless. And we need to work together to do something about it. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, as sad as it is for women to be homeless, it's sad for anyone to be homeless.
Agreed.
But the fact that you focus just on women, that's just so awful. Pokemon Fetish, it's nice to have you in here.
Oh, that's okay. Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
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 You changed your hair.
Of what? Did he?
Wow, and now he's made it.
Yes, he's trying to get his stuff going there.
Yeah.
I think I hit mute. It takes too long.
Alrighty, so you're on. Welcome. You had mentioned to me before that you had been homeless, and that's where I got the idea to do this episode. But what was it like being homeless in Toronto?
I'm probably still muted.
No, you're not.
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay, it still has a cross through it no matter what I do. So I just keep clicking it, and I'm thinking that I missed it switch, and then I click it again. So
it'll be, if you're muted, then it will be red, and if you're not muted, then it will be black.
No white representation. Oh shit.
No white representation. only the black and red man get represented as always.
Well, no, but
I actually am.
White. The icon is always white. It's just the outline that's racist. Or maybe it's inside that's racist. I don't know. It's just racist.
Everything is racist. Everything is sexist, and you need to point it out.
Anyway, to answer that question, it's from what I came in late. I just saw you were live, but the difference with Toronto is the shelter I was in allowed pets. It was what's the term for unisex? It was an LGBT safe space, but there was tons of crazy people in there.
Sounds awfully Canadian to me.
Yeah.
Which one was it? You said that you could stay in there for a year.
The VA, Veteran Affairs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know I'm Canadian, but I mostly read U.S. stuff, so just you don't have to explain any.
Okay.
Shit. No, sorry, that was a bit rude, but I just saved some time. Don't
worry about being rude. I say rude shit all the time.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. But the one I was in was they typically only have people there for 3 months, and you're theoretically supposed to meet with your caseworker. Mine didn't contact me for, I think, 3 to 4 weeks. I didn't even get called for the appointment, like just the initial interview. But they let some people stay if they're actually working on something, like an actual plan to find work and all of that stuff. But in my experience, most of the people there probably just shift between different ones whenever they get discharged, whether it be for drugs, violence, having sex in the laundry room, stuff like that. But
that's oddly specific.
well, my first night there, like, there's a big room. I think it's probably similar to a prison pod. Like, it's a big group area, and there's a TV and a couch, and then everyone has their own hallways with their own rooms. Not our own rooms. Like, no, I had 4 to 6 people at any time in the room I was in. And if you're a drug addict, you're not going to probably actually use the programs that they offer to find work or anything like that, because that shit is just everywhere, all over the place. And here, I don't know what they do in the States, but here they hand out kits with those long glass cylinder tubes with like wire mesh and screens and stuff like that. The harm reduction kits. Have you ever encountered that?
No.
If they there's that type for, I think, smoking crack, and there's another bag in another bin right outside the door, like if you were to leave. And the other one had sanitary needles and like heroin supplies. It's called they call it harm reduction. They don't actually offer any programs that I saw to maybe help addicts. What it was let's give them sanitary and new tools to do what they do, so that they don't get like an AIDS needle or reuse needles and stuff like that.
That's hot.
What?
Wow. Yeah, they definitely don't do that in the States. At least the places that I was in. I will put it that way. 50 states, and I was only in 2, so. But wow. But I want to reply to a comment from Mr. He was saying that it was like boot camp. Yeah, it very much was like boot camp. That, you know, there were bunk beds everywhere, and there were like 50 people to a barracks, and it was pretty much like that. And then there were communal showers, so if you wanted to shower, you had to shower around a lot of other guys. And of course, most of them were covering up their penis while they showered me. I'm just standing proud. So I'm like, if you're going to look, I don't give a shit.
I'd go into the bathroom, and there'd be people smoking drugs, like in the shitter and stuff. Like,
nice.
I've been around people that smoke crack, and like it smells like a big burning plastic. It's a disgusting smell. You go in the bathroom and it smells like that, or I don't know what meth smells like. Maybe it was that, but like,
gross.
One of the best friends, I told my roommate to give her my number just because she was so awesome, but she was a hilarious lesbian heroin and crack addict. But she had such a good head on her shoulders. Like, she had her... am I cutting out?
No, you're fine. But I'm just surprised. It was co-ed?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Well, you said it was LGBT, but I didn't know women were staying there.
No, right before that, I was like talking to myself. I was like, what's the like the hairstyle term? I said unisex to describe it.
Once again, I will say this sounds awfully Canadian to me. It does show the stark contrast, though, between the I think the culture and how we treat homeless people to some extent, though, right? Because I don't know. But we'll just say Canada is a lot more, in some ways, better, but also more politically correct, and that really shows in a lot of their laws and shit.
Tommy said, "Can you blame them? It takes something to cope with the reality that you're something that you don't even know someone who can give you a roof." I know someone who is currently dealing with basically couch hopping is what they call it, or couch surfing. Yeah, and they don't have to resort to drugs. That is a very, very different mindset. You definitely do not have to resort to drugs. Like, that's definitely a choice. Like,
I don't think a lot of these people were exactly not addicts before they went in there. So. Yeah. But I can completely understand the coping mechanism thing, because
I cannot.
I was in a really dark spot. I'm not going to go into all of the dark history of how I got there. Just for the sake of brevity, when your source of buying a little bit of crack just to cope with the bullshit, just to get an escape, is a pregnant woman, and you know she's going to scoop some off the top, and you do it anyway, yeah, it's pretty fucking shitty. So I completely understand being in a dark place and how these people can really get fucked up. But I don't know how many of them actually have morals left because of it.
Right.
Like, I stay awake at night thinking about that. It drives me nuts, and I often end up drinking just to not have dreams that remind me of it.
Well, I can definitely relate to that, because being in the shelter was not fun. I mean, it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty bad. And there is this, because one thing that happened to me, because, again, I was in crutches and I was staying on the bottom floor, everyone thought I was faking it. Even the staff thought I was faking it. It's like, yeah, you're just playing the system so you can get privileges. And it's like, I wasn't really getting that much. They bring me breakfast in the morning instead of me having to go up and get it. And I got to sleep on the bottom floor where they keep saying there were rats down there. You know, it's like, oh, that's very comforting.
Oh, yeah. So they consider it like protective custody.
Yeah.
It's the cops, pedophiles, and rats down there.
But it was also that old, crazy black guy who kept threatening to slit my throat in my sleep. So, I was privileged.
Yeah, it's hard to say that while you're shaking white fingers.
Well, I don't.
That's obviously a joke.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, there was one incident where we had to put in Philadelphia, we always had to give our bag to the staff to put up for the night. In Detroit, we always kept our stuff with us. So it's kind of a mixed bag on which one was better. But they always put my bag on the very top, and it was very heavy. And the guy who would get the stuff for you was actually pretty short. So he would like jump up and grab my bag and then bring it down, and it would just do a hard thump on the ground. Well, my laptop is in there. I kept wrapping a towel around it, trying to cushion some of that, and all my clothes were in there. But one time, one of the loops got stuck on a pole, and he just kept tugging on it, and it actually ripped. And I went to the help staff. I'm like, hey, my backpack got ripped, and it's your fault. And they're like, well, what do you want us to do? We don't got a backpack here to give you. And, I kind of got the sense they're not going to do shit for me. Thankfully, I had a sewing kit, and I did a quick sewing job and put some super glue on it. But, that's just the kind of attitude that these shelters have. It's like, hey, we're already giving you a place to sleep. If something happens, it's on you.
It sounds like part of it is they've had to deal with so much stuff and scams from, we'll say, what do we call residents? Resident kind of implies a stationary place to live. I don't know. The terminology is fucking weird for when we try and choose it, but I can understand that they deal with a lot of people trying to scam them and shit, like the heroin addicts and the crack addicts and shit. So I think part of that leads to that attitude. The same way cops get jaded. Hold on, I'm being called. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mute him if you can, Medusa. But, what Tom is saying, it's like if he's going to be homeless, he's going to do a little bit of crack to kind of get through it. And, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you on that one. Whatever you have to do to get yourself through it, I'm not going to judge you. It's just don't be surprised that I didn't do it.
I mean, I don't blame anyone, but I am gonna kind of judge you. No offense, but that's just my personal opinion because I will never ever do hard drugs, and I see absolutely no point in doing them because they could either potentially kill you, make you completely addicted, and make you completely, run more out of money and possibly go fucking crazy. You could and just fucking go crazy, period, from doing drugs. Sex is free.
No, it's not. Well,
if you find someone, it is free.
If you find someone, but I haven't had sex in like 6 years, so
I'm just saying there are much more freer things and cheaper things.
Easier for you to get sex, but as a guy,
but it's much easier. Well, it's also much easier to get alcohol than it is to get any other kind of hard drugs. So I see absolutely no point in doing that shit.
Even people I saw in the shelter would be out in the streets like, "Hey man, you got $1?" I'd always tell them no because it's like I'm just as poor as you. In fact, you saw me in the shelter this morning.
Yeah. See, that's another thing that pisses me off. Like real people that need help, like I give them everything that I can when I have like extra change or something. But then there's the people, which is one of the reasons I don't do any kind of transportation jobs anymore, like Uber or taxi, because when I was a taxi person, I would often be called over by people who were homeless, and they would tell me that they would need to go to the store and then to some other place, and then they would be giving me the money. And so basically I found out that these people were robbing the stores and trying to sell the stuff on the street for money. And unbeknownst to me until afterwards, and then the fucking I think I called it was like a Walgreens or something that they let. Actually no, I think he had to leave and empty-handed because they had seen him before, and he was like, yeah, sorry, they didn't have what I needed, so I can't give you any money. And I was just like, gee, thanks. Like people would do that all the time. Seriously, they would be like, oh, take me here, and then they'd be like, oh, well, we don't have any money. Like it would happen all the fucking time. And the worst thing that happened to me when I was a taxi driver was when I was just sitting there in the car, and I guess it was a taxi van, and this guy came up, and I had seen him before, like asking people for money, and he was one of the people I found out later that chooses to panhandle and basically finds as much money as he possibly can to scrounge up together to put into giving for drugs or something. And so he asked me, he was like, oh, hey, I'm like really hungry, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any change? And I was like, I mean, the only change that I have is right here. And it's, it came with the car. Like that, I told him, I was like, it came with the taxi. You can have it if you want though. And so I handed it to him, and he was like, this is all like pennies. Like, I can't do anything with this. Do you have any dollars? And I was like, are you serious? Like, do you want me to take it back? And he was like, I mean, yeah, you can have this. And I was like, what? Like, what is this? What, you're being picky about the fucking money I'm giving you? So I was just like, whatever. I was like, I think I have like $1 in my purse. Okay, I'll fucking get it in my fucking trunk. Because I was just that nice.
There's a whole subreddit called choosing beggars, where they just highlight social media posts where these people that are beggars just are like that, but a lot more petty than that.
Well, I actually changed my opinion on giving money to people on the streets who are panhandling. And this is kind of an unpopular view, but it's the view that I have, is that, like, if someone comes up to me and is like, hey, man, do you got, like, a few dollars so I can go in and get something to eat? I'll say, how about I go in and get you something to eat and bring it back out to you? That way I can make sure that my money is being used for that thing. And, I had this conversation with my mom, and she's like, yeah, that's just the way my mother was, what business it is of yours, what they choose to spend the money on. And it's like, well, that's true. If I give them my money, I cannot judge them for how they choose to use that money. But guess what? The money is still in my possession. And if it's wrong for me to judge them on how they would use any money that's given to them, then why is it okay to judge me on how I use my money before I give it to them?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I wish we could do that with the government.
Well, yeah, so I was nice enough to go into the trunk and give this guy like
How
the
long did he keep you in the trunk?
What?
How long did he keep you in the trunk?
It wasn't a very big trunk. I couldn't fit in it. But I gave him like the $2 that I had in my fucking thing, because I couldn't give him the money that I had made that night because it was my boss's money. And so I gave him those, and he was like, oh, thank you so much, and like gushing for like no fucking reason, like turning like a 180. And then he was like, oh, can I hug you? And I was like, sure, okay. So he hugged me, and he was like, oh, it's been so long since I had a human's touch or some shit like that. And I was like,
contact or some
yeah, something like that. I was like, yeah, it's cool, man. And he's like, and I swear to God, word for word, the next thing he said was, oh baby, my penis is getting hard. And I shoved him. I was like, whoa, man, it's too far. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I ruined it. And I was like, yeah, just don't fucking do that. And I got back in my fucking van. I was like, fuck off, okay? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I thought it was going somewhere differently. The hug was to distract you, to take your wallet.
Yeah, I just thought that.
No, my wallet was in the trunk. Like, I made sure that like there were all kinds of people around. Like, it was a busy street, so I wasn't about to give him money when I was alone. But yeah, no, I made sure that shit was hidden, and then he just decided to make it creepy, and yeah, I never saw him again.
Hey, Medusa, my penis is getting hard.
I know, it usually is, isn't it? Dang, we do not have a lot of viewers tonight.
Yeah, it seems like I think YouTube's been having an issue lately because a lot of people are getting lower. I've just heard this from multiple people, even just looking at my Discord while we've been doing this episode. And like, yeah, 3 separate people who are streamers have been like, yeah, it seems like there's not many live viewers going on the stream as usual. So yeah, something is going on with YouTube.
Yeah.
As usual, YouTube is probably not notifying people as it should be.
Freaking gaybos.
Medusa, I got a question.
Yes.
Under your right eye, is that a tattoo you got because you shanked a Kiss fan in prison?
No, I'm actually supposed to be Jack Spicer. Or, I don't know, Jackie Spicer?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I thought she was the chick from Mirror's Edge.
Because
of that stripe right there.
I could probably do something like that. I don't know. I was just lazy, and I started putting eye makeup on, and I was like, hey, Jack Spicer has that thing. So I did it. And I have a red wig and a thing that's nice and leathery, so it works out.
You should do an Al Jolson cosplay next.
Yeah, your Catwoman. It's part of your Catwoman cosplay.
Yeah. What color hair does Catwoman have?
She doesn't have red hair. I'm pretty sure it's like black. So you'd have to have a black wig.
Wasn't
I
Catwoman
have one right here.
But you know,
Catwoman
does have
by
red
Halle
hair,
Berry?
Black
So,
Widow.
No, we don't bring up the Halle Berry. We don't bring up the Halle Berry movie. Go.
well, we do if it's relevant to the cosplay because Medusa doesn't have black hair.
The black.
I have a black wig.
See, that's when it gets into appropriation. And actually, no, there's no like fanatics obsessed with Halle Berry and Catwoman to go after you.
Yeah, that's true. No one gives a shit at all. So
It's not like Steven Universe or some shit.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
seen Halle Berry lately? It looks like someone really went to town on her with an ugly stick.
Maybe it was Chris Brown.
Yeah, maybe.
Now let's get back on topic. Who's this other guy?
What?
The other person talking. I know the other two of you.
Who,
Animancer?
Animancer?
Yeah.
Who, me?
He's my love.
Yeah. It's
He's
true.
my daddy.
He's our love child.
That works, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good way to phrase it, I suppose.
He's just a regular we have on to help fill the monotony.
Yeah. When they can't get anyone better on, I just come on here.
Mr. Misanthropic said Sinatra was having a debate on his channel, and Lord of the Nipples is on. I don't know what LOTN stands for. I don't watch Sinatra either, so
I think what he's saying is that it's on, and that's why we're not getting a lot of views because people are watching that.
oh well, fuck him. I don't give a shit. Why would my fans be watching that? I'm just kidding. Oh. I thought you just got interrupted applying corpse paint. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Corpse.
I mean, I was thinking about going all out and just like make-upping my face during the entire stream, but I don't know. I'm too lazy.
We could do another makeup live stream.
Well, yeah. I mean, I usually do those like when I'm drunk. So donate if you want me to get more drunk. Or eat food. I would like to eat some food. Do
you have a treat stream?
A what?
Have you ever heard of treat stream before? That's a way where people can like directly tip you with food.
I would like that a lot. I've been wanting
you can
for like 2 days.
You can sign up and get food delivered like directly from your house, like via a tip, instead of like donations. I'll show you how to set it up. After.
Yeah, show me how to set it up because that sounds fun.
Yeah, we can get.
Go ahead.
Sorry, we can get you both a treat stream.
I ate some ramen. It just wasn't enough.
Ramen is your food.
You gotta cook your men.
Cook my what?
Men.
Your men?
You said raw men. Never mind.
Oh.
Lordy.
Oh, I do not have a rim shot.
I prefer my men to be raw. Quit with the womp womps. Ramen is not life. Maybe if I had like some eggs or something to put in it, but I don't even have eggs.
Ramen is not food. I eat two things. Actually, I eat packages of ramen at once, and
I have a little bit of
really
cheese.
Cool.
I have a little bit of cheese left, so maybe I'll eat my entire block of cheese, and then I won't be as hungry.
Mister, if you're going to rim shot me, put on some lube first.
Whoa. I'm slowly like getting more and more distracted by my hunger.
Oh, hush.
I'm sorry.
Days
We're all distracted from the topic of the stream, by the way.
This is just how our
There
stream
is no
is.
topic. Homelessness has to do with hunger. I have a home, but no food.
But I mean, if there's more you want to say, Pokemon, we welcome it. But we just go off on that. That's just how our show is.
Exactly.
No, that's fine. I don't care. I like the Black Panther thing you have in the background there.
Hey, thanks.
If you put that on, it would match your outfit.
Yeah, but my hair would be sticking out.
She's got the Catwoman leather on already. She's gonna try and put it over the headset. It's not gonna work.
Yep.
Yep. Fit it in there. Yeah. Fit your head in that.
No, that's not happening. Wait. Shit. That didn't work. Hold on.
Now we can say anything we want to her. She can't hear us.
No, I can't hear anything. Hello? Hello?
For a second, like she was actually going to try to put the headphones on that fucking thing.
That would have been funny.
It was just muscle.
Oh my god. I left for 5 seconds and I come back to this. What's going on?
Why did you leave?
What's going on here?
I had to get I had to get a drink to restore my my mana or whatever.
Your mancer.
My mana, you know.
How could you?
How could I? How could I?
I didn't even know that it extended. That's what she said.
Oh,
sure she didn't, but okay.
By the way, you can send me gifts and stuff on Amazon, my Amazon wishlist, and yeah. That's a thing that exists. I know my birthday was like last week, but I still exist.
Medusa, will you?
Would you please shut?
No! No! No. Oh god. Shoot. Do you want to end?
Sorry, did you guys see the guy in the patriarchy shirt that pulled a gun on the cops?
No.
They just released a body.
Patriarchy shirt?
Yeah, smashed the patriarchy shirt. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pulled the gun and got killed by the cops.
Oh yeah, I did see something about that. That's awesome.
Oh, that's news to me.
I guess he did not succeed in smashing the patriarchy. That sucks for him.
Yeah, we can go ahead and start close enough. Let's end in 15 minutes. But does anyone have anything they want to say about homelessness or any questions they have?
Feel free.
I just want to say it's very striking the differences between freedom and socialism and how they treat the poor. Like the homeless, I mean, obviously. That doesn't mean I advocate socialism, but it's like you guys got a little bit of work. You guys got some work to do, because for a lot of people, socialism is a way to bounce from place to place, and they know people everywhere, and they just get the same drugs over and over again.
Well, I wouldn't call being homeless socialism. I mean,
how Canada deals with it.
There's nothing wrong with taking care of the people who are less fortunate. I mean, I understand what you're saying about just bouncing from place to place and living off of the system, and that's definitely socialism. But if you're just trying to use the services to try to get out of your situation, that's just, I don't know, it's definitely not socialism. And that's something that I hate people talk about. It's like, well, if you're sponging off the government, you're a socialist. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes we need a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say anything bad to you, Pokemon, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from. But
I can elaborate a bit more. I'm talking more just about how Canada, I said versus freedom, because I like America's system better in regards to your freedoms. But, I don't know. I'm trying to form my thoughts again now. Shit, it's vastly different, and it made me wonder which one is better. But what sealed my decision was the Second Amendment for sure.
America, fuck yeah. Well, you know, and I used to, as a kid, want to go to Canada or go to the UK and just experience these different cultures. But now I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to leave the United States because, like, Canada, if I don't identify someone by their preferred pronoun, I can, like, be written up or possibly go to prison. And the UK, I could be raped by an Islamic rape gang, but I can't say anything about it because it'll be racist.
You're a little old for them, though. But
yeah, I'm a little old for them. But I mean, according to Mr. Mystery, he's been to both. You're not missing much. It's just, it's so sad that these were once great cultures, and now they've like been so PC'd that they're not really worth going to.
Well, that's how a lot of things are these days, honestly. It's sad but true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad and true that we all have our own benefits to even Canada and our own detriments, and they differ across the board.
It's true.
But, I wish America would actually live up to what everyone proclaims it to be. What I mean by that is like the hardcore patriots. And
well, they'll never live up to that because they believe it, you know, really, really hardcore patriots believe it to be something that, you know, is kind of like impossible. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a very fantasized version. And, you know, I get it. I understand. Like, and it kind of makes sense from the standpoint that you want your country to be the best it can be. So I totally get that. That makes sense. But yeah.
Like your Constitution, I don't know if you're American, sorry, but the Constitution there.
I am.
We don't have like similar shit in the sense that you have freedom of speech that's enshrined. It can't really, it gets attacked, but you can't really get rid of an amendment like that. But the Canada, we have the right to freedom of expression so long as it doesn't offend an identifiable group. And what is an identifiable group? It's usually protected class. It never seems to be used to protect white straight males, for instance.
Well, the scary thing is, like, there was someone who pranked UC Berkeley and got a petition of, would you restrict the First Amendment? And a lot of people signed it. And we're getting to this point where it's starting to be where, I mean, the Supreme Court ruled that hate speech is protected under the First Amendment, but people are constantly trying to restrict on what you can and cannot say. And that's the scary thing in America right now. We could start looking a lot more like Canada. It's like, well, you have freedom of speech so long as it doesn't offend anyone. Well, how do you define offending someone? Well, if someone's offended, you can't say it. And it's just like, that's what scares me right now, is that we could start losing our freedom of speech. We could start losing the right to bear arms, search and seizure. We've already started to lose that one, honestly, with warrantless wiretaps. That was actually one of the reasons I initially voted for Obama, is that he promised that he would get rid of warrantless wiretaps, and they're still in existence.
Well,
yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that the Obama phone would be NSA proof or something.
The Obama phone. Oh man, I can't stand that word now. That's just that's setting off my tism radar or something, man. I really don't like that word, like the Obama phone. I don't like that.
Ring, 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 ring.
Obama phone.
The ringtone is Obama, 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 Obama.
I'm gonna make a picture. I'm gonna Photoshop a picture of Obama, like his face on a phone. It's gonna be awesome.
But well, that's another thing about freedom of speech is college campuses right now, that they are required. Professors are required to give trigger warnings of what content may be in there, and that one person refused to take a test because it mentioned rape, and it was a law class where it was required to learn about rape laws.
That's one of my favorite.
I need a safe space.
That's one of my favorite examples. I might be confusing it with. No, I'm confusing it with another one. Never mind. Sorry, I'm confusing it with one where during Ferguson, an email was sent to a professor saying, "Students of color in your classroom need extra time. Like, we're not coming to exam day. We need extra time to deal with this institutionalized racism, Michael Brown, blah blah blah." And the teacher just emailed back a simple answer. He just said, "No." Beautiful.
That's fucking awesome.
Institutionalized racism. Oh Lord, what a buzzword if I ever heard one.
Well, the first word in that gives us some ideas on how to deal with these people.
The only institutional racism is by Al Sharpton, who makes money on trying to promote the idea of racism. He's made an institution of it.
Well, shit.
Jesus. Oh, man.
Sorry, the furnace is down here beside me. I have to turn the mic off for a second.
You're good. My brain is kind of done outdoor painting for like hours today, and I don't have any food in my stomach, so.
Yeah, I found it interesting that this was the topic of this show today, because I made a tweet earlier about about how I feel like there's not enough of a discussion going on about the homeless issue. Like it could be something that could be discussed on a bipartisan level, and something could easily be accomplished. I mean, it should be able to, but that's the problem here in America these days, is that both parties are so obsessed with only pandering to the pet issues of their party. So nothing that would be beneficial to all, like legalizing weed, perhaps, and ending homelessness to the best of their ability, and all that shit, it gets ignored and swept aside because no one wants to cater to that.
Well, technically, in a very technical sense, the issue of the wall actually would help the homeless population. And this is something that I heard that was very poignant, that like in California, they care more about illegal aliens than the people living there. Like if you're an illegal alien, you get all of these benefits and all of this free shit. But if you're like homeless in California or LA, you basically get nothing. And if they put up that wall, we get less immigrants coming in, we start deporting people, then there's more to actually do something with and potentially give money to homeless or give more jobs to the homeless. But it's like LA right now, the only people living there are the very poor and the very rich. There is no middle class. Oh, and the illegal.
It's also a problem with Seattle as well, increasingly. A lot of West Coast cities are starting to have that issue, it seems like. Big homeless problem in Seattle. And all these big tech companies are there. It's no coincidence at all. They drive up all the housing prices, and then the people who have lived there for like generations, they're fucked.
Mm-hmm. Well, that reminded me about the story about Nestle when I had Andy Worski on my channel, and that they left California because of the high living costs there, but also because they got sued by not the state of California, but someone in California sued them because their website did not mention that they don't use slave labor.
What?
Are you fucking kidding?
No.
I never fucking heard that.
Yeah, that's on my channel, but it was just like so funny. It's like, well, your website doesn't mention it doesn't use slave labor, so we're going to sue you. And it's like, really? Maybe if they don't mention it, it might mean that they don't actually do it. You need that confirmation. But it's like lawsuits are so frivolous out in California. California is such a toxic place to live, or at least Southern California. Northern California seems to be
just as bad.
okay.
Well, I wouldn't say just as bad, but it's pretty bad. My mom lived there for a while, and now my grandparents are leaving because it's so not.
The word you're looking for is brown.
No, it's just becoming more dangerous. Like my sister got attacked by a gang of Mexican chicks, like a literal gang, and she was only like 12.
Wow.
And fucking my mom was basically just treated like shit at every single one of her jobs because she was the only white person. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons they left. Not because that they had to work or she had to work with them, but because they treated her like shit because she wasn't like them. And it's like, you're so worried about diversity that white people just have to like become non-existent. Like, I don't understand.
They will tell you that they'll tell you that reverse racism does not exist, and that's because what it is revenge racism.
Revenge racism?
It's like Hillary.
I've never heard that. That's good.
Well, and the thing is like when we talk about diversity, it doesn't include white people. In fact, if you had every other race in a room, but not white people, it would be considered the most diverse room ever, even though it's excluding white people.
Yeah.
They always talk about California seceding from the Union. Do it. Let them leave. Because one, they keep needing fresh water from every other state, Arizona, Seattle, Oregon. They need fresh water pumped in. They'd no longer get that. The only reason why Hillary got as many electoral votes is because California voted for her. Well, hey, we don't have to worry about any Democrats getting elected again if California seceded from the Union.
I think that's another reason that they're leaving, because that shit. Right.
About leaving. I mean, Texas talked about leaving the Union when Obama got elected.
Oh no, I meant my grandparents. They're leaving because Californians are talking about leaving the Union or whatever the fuck.
Oh, crap. I thought you meant they were leaving the marriage union. I was going to say that's so sad after so many years of marriage.
None of the states who have been in the part of America for this long are leaving the fucking United States at this point. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking...
I want California to become your Quebec. That'd be hilarious.
Oh no. Actually, I think it is our Quebec.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
You guys should start the referendum to make them sovereign instead of them doing it themselves.
California would fail within 1 year if it seceded from the Union.
No, the collection needs to happen, right, guys? That collects it. I've actually heard people call it that, by the way. The collects it. The Cal exit.
God, that's lamer than saying like hella or hubby or some shit like that. Oh God, it's so cringy.
Bay.
Well, it's supposed to be like the Brexit, but the collects it.
Whoa.
Oh, funny. All of the people for Colexit were against Brexit.
Yeah, that's the ironic thing about it.
Yeah, it is.
They won't be collecting a lot of that federal aid money, I'm sure, if they succeed. So.
Oh my God, I'm gonna be so pissed. I might just wait until midnight when I should be getting paid to go get food, because
you get paid at midnight.
Yes.
Wow.
I think, maybe. I hope. I have $2 in my bank account.
Shit, that's something I could bring up. On the benefits, like disability check sort of things that a lot of the people at the shelter received, it all came to everyone at the same night.
Oh, yeah.
Those with direct deposit, they all sit around, wait till midnight. And I've never seen so much coordination amongst drug addicts to make all of them get their fix.
Yeah, the same thing happens in the States. The first of the month is when everyone gets their EBT, and it's like that.
No, it depends on the last number of your social security.
No. In Philadelphia, it was everyone got it on the same day.
What?
Yeah, or at least all the homeless people. Maybe it's different for people who are not homeless, but the homeless people, they all got it on the first. And the morning of, the cafeteria where I was eating every morning was almost bare. I mean, barely anyone was there because everyone went out to eat.
Yeah. All I can think about right now is food. Oh, fuck.
We had 3 meals a day.
I'm gonna get you.
If you weren't going to make the last supper meal at 4 o'clock, you could call ahead and reserve a meal and then have to microwave it. And anything they didn't serve, they brought out at 1 in the morning for anyone who wanted it.
Well, for me, because I was working a lot, I just didn't want to eat dinner at 3 o'clock and then just be stuck in the barracks all day. I could be out until about 8 p.m. So I would just keep working at 8 p.m. I would often skip dinner and usually skip breakfast as well. And I always skipped lunch. So I just kept going till Jimmy John's and just getting a sandwich for the day. So
we could be out if we sign ourselves out at any time of the night, any time in the late morning, 3 in the morning and shit like that. Only if we signed out. But before that, you got to be in by 12.
Well, I remember
so much lenient. Sorry for interrupting you. I just want to say real quick. I actually, before I went in there, never even knew about how crazy different our system is here. And I thought I was going to be have to call the intake number. They'd assign me a place to go, and I'd have to sleep in a bunk bed in a church, and then have to leave in the morning, be in by 6 or some shit like that. I literally thought it was going to be just like that because I've only ever seen the shit on American media.
Yeah, I had found out with the shelter in Detroit that I could have stayed overnight because when I first saw my girlfriend in Detroit, I was in Detroit for about a month, and she convinced me to get a hotel room, which is a whole other story. But I told her I have to be back by 3 p.m. And sure enough, I did. But I found out I could have stayed overnight in the hotel room if I had called them. But yeah, the places you go to, they're not very keen on giving you all of the rules. They give you just the bare basics, but they have all of these hidden rules. So it's always good to ask about things, even if it seems inane. You think, oh yeah, they'd say no. Ask them anyways, because it would have been nice to spend some time with my I said I haven't had sex in 5 years. I meant 2 years because I did have sex with her. It wasn't very memorable, but it was sex.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Shit, she's feeling pretty small right now.
I could care less about that bitch. She could go suck her own dick.
Giggity.
So you had sex with a chick with a dick.
Hey, she still has an ass.
That's my mentality on that. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
The only mentality that anyone should have on that.
Well, everyone's always talking about the trap question. Well, at least I used to be. I've always just maintained that only fat and ugly traps are gay.
The pretty ones aren't gay. Don't worry about it.
If they can cause me to fool myself willingly, then yeah, they've earned it, I guess. I gotta go pee.
Besides, there's always.
If you guys are gonna close it down and have a good night, if you're still here, then I'll say bye then, because Medusa's eyes look like they've been closed for a while.
I feel like I'm dead. I really need something.
Sustenance, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll just ask Angie to come in my mouth, and that'll give me some protein.
Damn it! I was about to say that.
Stop.
All three of them can whitewash you if you want.
Ask Andrew for a double.
I want a McDouble.
A Mac double.
Well,
Yeah, I want a
$2 you
Mac
can
double.
get it.
I thought she wanted like I didn't know what an Irish double was. So.
I'm Irish, kind of.
It's when you stick your dick in a girl's mouth and then pour Guinness down her mouth. That's a McDouble. An Irish double.
No, that's a Mac double. That's a Mac double.
You ever heard of the Lucky Pierre?
No.
It's a gay dude in the three-way that gets fucked and fucks.
That sounds hot. Stop turning me on.
What?
I've got one for you. But you ever heard of Over the Top? It's inspired by a Sylvester Stallone movie. It's when one guy does a girl doggy style, the other guy's standing up getting blown, and they arm wrestle on her back.
What?
What? I didn't understand any of that.
A dude is doing a girl doggy. A guy is getting blown from her in the front, and they're arm wrestling on her back. It's called the Over.
Oh, so just a more gay Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, I was thinking about Eiffel Tower. No, it's a manly Eiffel Tower because they're arm wrestling.
I'd say that's more gay. I'd say that's more gay than kissing. That would be hot.
Kissing in general is pretty fucking faggy.
I know, right?
I like kissing, so fuck y'all. I'm a fag.
I am the gayest. I am the gay.
Like I always say, sucking dick doesn't make you gay. Enjoying it does.
See, this is why you guys watch this show, for valuable information. That's
the age-old adage, right?
Can't stand this dick.
It's
I'm gonna
not
keep
gay,
sucking it though.
Isn't that how it usually goes? I mean,
I guess I gotta suck this dick. I'm not gonna like it.
Most girls I've been with are like, oh god, I just gotta suck his dick just so he'll give me a good fucking.
That's so gay. I would.
Yeah, girls do everything.
Those bitches deserve
sucking dick.
They deserve to have their clits bitten. Anybody that isn't all about sucking that D needs to get bit on the C. That's my motto.
Make that a meme. If you're not all about the D, you get bit on the C.
That's what I'm gonna do. If I'm like eating a bitch out and like a guy tries to stick a dick in her mouth and she's like, "Eh," I'm gonna be like, ah! "Nah, bitch." You better suck that dick. See, now I'm just becoming delirious from lack of food. And go.
Yeah, we got to get you that treat stream so that people can send you food. I bet a lot of people will be like, you know, there's some people who are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to send Medusa like hundreds of foods. And
I have so much food on my Amazon wish list.
Like, oh yeah, like that.
I got these gummy worms, but these aren't a very good source of nutrition.
What are you talking about?
What's nutrition? Just have something to put in your mouth.
Guys, you gotta send Medusa.
I've been eating them.
You have a big wheel of cheese on there? You have a big wheel of cheese?
I haven't had gummy bears in like forever.
No, you gotta put a wheel on there.
But I don't like any of the cheeses that come in wheels.
Oh.
I only like extra sharp white cheddar is my favorite. Anything else is just like meh. I don't know. Like maybe like it would have to be like a really strong tasting, like good ass cheese. Or like a spicy cheese. I'll see if they have a spicy habanero mango habanero cheese wheel.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You never had mango habanero cheese?
One of these days, well, I'm allergic to mango, but one of these days I'm coming to North Carolina and I'm going to make you a fondue.
North Carolina. Okay. Fondue me!
Oh, I'll fondue you right up the ass.
Fondoodle.
No! That cheese isn't supposed to go there.
Fondoodle.
I was talking about the D, my D, going in your ass. I'll fondue you.
No! No!
Okay. Bye, you
She's
guys.
scared because she's seen my penis.
No, I haven't. What?
Fondant.
Fondant. Are you a fondue or a fondant?
Okay, bye, you guys.
Okay. See you later.
No,
Take
that
it
was a
easy.
question.
What?
Yeah, we're supposed to end this.
I don't know. I mean, we're trying to end it. I'm just really bad
know,
at saying goodbye.
The joke was that I was saying you guys are bye. Or asking.
Ah! Yes, I am. Okay.
Well, that reminds me of something. How long is a Chinese man?
I think most of the people in this chat or in this room are bi. As far as I know.
Mhm.
I don't know that kind of answer. I keep offering to suck his dick. But he never
Well, when I'm sober, the trannies are biological women, but when I'm drunk, I just acknowledge that they're dudes.
Wait, what? So it's like the opposite effect for you? How does that work?
I
Wait.
don't fucking know. I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't get drunk goggles. You just get you just become more aware of your surroundings.
I become more progressive.
Hey, you know, I'm okay with trannies, but they're still false advertisement.
Well, no.
How so?
The trannies that advertise are fine. It's the traps you got to worry about.
No, see, personally, I would.
If I'm hitting on
more...
this chick and I discover she has a penis, I'm going to be angry. Not because I don't like penis, but I really wanted vagina that moment.
I would much prefer to be pleasantly surprised by a penis than a post-op vagina, personally.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you.
Does that make me like more a faggot and more of a misogynist? Because like, I'd rather fuck something with an asshole that looks like a woman than something with a
No, I mean,
penis
they're easier
vagina.
to deal with.
Like,
they know what you want.
If you date someone with a post-op vagina, they're gonna make your penis their stint to keep their wound from healing.
Oh my god!
And how can that be a really truthful relationship when they're just using you in the place of this long plastic piece of thing?
Bro, do they actually have to do that though? Like,
yes, a lot of them. I think most of them do that surgery. At least the ones that have happened in the past. I don't know.
Well, that's enough reality for me.
Oh yeah, that's okay. I think that's a good place.
So
to
wait,
end
you're
the
meaning
stream.
that women will use me? These post-op women will use me for sex? Finally, I've been waiting for a woman to use me for sex.
All right, there we go.
And the great thing about a post-op vagina is I don't have to
God.
look at it to use it. But a post-op penis, it kind of is required that I suck on it. So that means I have to look at it.
I've never actually looked up what a post-op penis looks like.
I can't even imagine what it could look like because it definitely won't look like a dick from what I've been described. It's basically a bunch of fat morphed around their clitoris, and they have to put a plastic tube inside of it and pump it up with an external pump. It's very. That's one of the that's one of the things that made me it made it very easy to determine that I wanted to be a female for my entire life. Even though it'd be nice to have a dick. Not for those. No.
I've considered transforming into a woman because I don't like how guys are treated. But then I'm always like, I have such a nice penis. It would be a crime against nature to chop this off.
Right, I want to get rid of these titties.
I was gonna say you'd look like the female Rich Evans or something. Naked, I mean.
I wonder what even the balls would look like, because like scrotal skin is actually no, they make it out of the labia. I'm pretty sure, but like it just it's so like balls are so awesome, and I can't imagine like what a prosthetic pair would feel like.
Lawrence of Arabia, like, it's gross.
I mean, more power to the people that are willing to go through that shit and potentially live happily. Good for those people. But
I've had sex with one tranny in my life, but to be
Oh.
fair, it was a woman transferring into a man, but he only got the top half done. So he still had a vagina, but had no tits. So it's like
I think you
having
told me
sex
about
with
that.
man and woman at the same time.
That would be interesting.
It definitely was. It was kind of a mind fuck because it's like, one hand I'm fucking, but I'm seeing a man. It just really confused.
Did she have facial hair?
Yeah.
Ah! That would be
hair
fucking crazy. What? Boy, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I don't know. I don't like manly girls. I like feminine men, but I don't like manly men. I like femininity. That's my preference.
Of manly girls, what do you think about Michelle Obama?
Can't get much more butch than that.
She is a skeleton person.
Have you seen her ass? That's like there was this picture where they showed all of the first ladies together from behind, and if you couldn't see skin color, you could tell which one was Michelle Obama because her ass was huge compared to all the others.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's surprising. I would have thought it was tiny, but I guess she got lucky.
I swear Michelle Obama was born with an XY chromosome set.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people say that she is a man.
Oh, I love the Michael Obama theory. It's hilarious.
Michael Obama.
I just always refer to her as Michael Obama now, just like
that's awesome.
Just to get replies from people like, "Do you actually believe blah 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 blah?"
Oh my god. Yeah, I like femininity, but I like masculine like personality traits. Like I don't like I don't like little bitches.
You could get both from Goku. Or like Sully from Dr. Quinn.
Goku is the most masculine motherfucker I can think of. What are you talking about?
Have you ever heard him fucking kowtow to Chi-Chi? You fucking kidding me?
What?
His wife, when she screams at him, he's like,
yeah, that's the opposite of what I'm talking about. I'm saying I like masculine personality traits and feminine physical traits. That's like, okay, so the opposite of Goku is what I like. That's great. I need food.
Yeah, I'm about to fall asleep. Also, like, I'm sorry. Like, I just had to, like, there's a point where you were talking about that stuff, and I had to mute everything because I just couldn't hear about that. That genitalia shit. It's just like,
sorry, I was talking about it just for you. I'm gonna have to repeat myself.
No. Please, no.
Oh, I'm so hungry. Fuck. Okay, somebody start shilling so I can end the shit and be miserable.
Okay, Pokemon Phoenix, chill someone.
Pokemon Phoenix. Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just trying to think of the closest food to genitals. I'm going to describe the cheese and the grease and the mayonnaise, the sauteed mushrooms.
Well, I'm thinking
I have no idea what's happening.
You get at Olive Garden is the closest to a penis.
Whoa.
And both are microwaved and soggy. So. But no, thanks for having me on. If you want to act like when I haven't been having a couple beers before I saw you live, if you want to have a serious conversation about the differences, where we actually stay on topic, that's fine. If you want to talk about anything else, that's fine. But just don't talk about my Pomeranian.
Okay.
Is that a type of cheese?
What? A Pomeranian? Oh, he said not to talk about it.
Parmesan.
Those are cute dogs, honestly.
There was one at work today named Foxy. It was cute.
Aw, that's a cute name.
Animaster, tell us about your
Oh,
shit.
okay, yeah. So I've got a podcast that I do on Saturdays called Underhaven, but also I've got a Twitch channel called Real Animancer, which I'm going to be streaming with Medusa on there. We're going to do live streams called Nautical Naughties on occasion, so check that shit out. And I also do solo streams on there where I go and eat McDonald's and shit, so go check it out.
Wait,
Yeah.
naughty. Medusa, would you ever want to do a stream where you read like erotic fan fiction? We all do the voices.
I've literally been waiting for people to ask me to do that.
I could have given you my erotic book that's out on Amazon, and we
Book?
could have
Come
read
on,
that.
I'm not talking about books. That's not
I'll have Medusa read some like tentacle hentai or something.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Well, like all of the orifice alleys.
Well, it is gonna be a little more like creative oriented, so we could feature some fan art, some fan fiction, all kinds of
eyebrows raised.
Just make some music out of my moans. That could be something. Oh god.
Oh, by the way, Animancer, I'm going to be free for the next few weeks on Saturday, so if you ever want me on, just let me know.
Cool. All right. Probably I'll talk to you sometime this month about that.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Your offering of subprime moan orgasms is going to pop my bubble.
Well, speaking of that,
I can moan way better than that.
It's true. Yeah.
Watch the world burn said, "Get naked, Mon and Medusa. Not for free. Not on YouTube.
Not on YouTube. Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you want some free nudity.
No!
Oh, shit. You can't do that for free.
You asked for it. See? You're right. You gotta wait until we get some donations up in here.
Yeah. You gotta wait for that $1 billion. You gotta wait for the billionaire to show up.
Oh, like I would see any of that.
Oh my god.
Just wait for your Brittany Venti $30,000 donation from some weird Saudi prince that you fly over to fuck.
Wait, what? Did that happen to her?
Not the last part that I know of, but.
What? Wait, what? What part of it happened?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh.
No, someone got an actual one-time donation of $30,000, I think, on Twitch. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with people? It must be some Saudi guy. Yeah, I swear I heard that.
Dude, I'm so fucking jealous. Like, and she didn't even have to do anything. Like, I'm over here being like, I will twerk my ass off if you just give me $5. And she's just like, oh,
really?
$30,000. There you go. Thanks.
Here comes $5.
God damn it. Oh well. Oh, Mad Cat, start your shows.
Well, I got $1 here, which is all I have to my name right now. So can I at least get one cheek of your ass moving?
Man.
That's what I call it.
I can't reach that.
That's what I call it. I smoke half a butt. I call it a cheek.
All right, so my shilling real quick because we're almost out of time here because Medusa doesn't know how to shut up.
Oh yeah, okay, it's my fault.
Yes, I'm glad we agree on that. All right, so you can check out all my stuff down below. I've got my Patreon. I'm not popular enough to not get my money from Patreon. I still get money. Every little bit helps right now. I'm saving up to get insurance so I can deal with my disability and also some day-to-day stuff, which is what it's used for right now. So even $1 helps me out a lot. Thank you to Ohio Dan and Wienerlicious, which I get $30 a month total, but it helps me out a lot, so I'm not knocking it. I really appreciate it. If you don't want to do that, I've also got my PayPal down below there as well. In addition to that, if you don't want to do either one of those, check out my book, How to Destroy a Woman Now. It's a book I made in response to How to Destroy a Man Now. And I'm hoping that if my book gets popular enough, And all the feminists like, oh, this is proof we live in a patriarchal society. We should ban this book. Amazon, take it down. Then we can get Amazon to take the first book down because that book is horrendous. At least my book at the very end says, don't do anything in this book. And Modern Medusa's on the cover. And I know I've been very bad about this. I've been super, super busy lately, but I do try to run these again on Sunday on my channel. So if I get the chance, just look out for that. And if you want to come chat with me directly, you can. I do enjoy chatting with you. And if you want to talk about anything, but you don't want to come on the air, you can reach out to me. Go to Modern Medusa's Facebook group, and I have access to that, so I see everything. All those guys sending dick pics, I just sit there and no one's sending dick pics. But if you want to talk on a personal level, one-to-one, I'm happy to do so.
Can I send you some dick pics?
Well,
I
you're a
mean,
dick, so sure, why not?
I wasn't asking you.
I always accept dick pics, so.
Of course, the woman thinks that it's her.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Talking to me, punk? No, I was actually... Sorry, I'll shut up.
That's right.
All right. You guys know what the fuck I do and what I want. You
Check
know.
out her Amazon wish list. She's still accepting gifts, even though her birthday is past. Check out Vanessa Custom Art, because she is a very talented artist. I've hired her a few times.
Hi.
She is amazing. So
Yeah, I have new art behind me.
She already has, or if you need something specific, she has very good rates, and she is way beyond talented. She's wasting her talent on us. That's how good she is.
Is that the last time you got laid reference you're making? Because it sounds like a different review now.
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, never mind. Like an hour ago, never mind.
I don't even know. Okay.
But also
but
check her out on Twitter, Vanessa
Yeah.
with Cheese, and that's a great way to get a hold of her. If you ever want to be on one of our shows, just tweet at her and say, hey, I want to be on the show. And then we'll ask you some questions and then get you on the show. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also
Forget
on
anything.
I'm also on like Twitch and like other shit, but that's all in the description, you know.
Yeah, links below.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you next week on the Merch.